Hey folks. So this past weekend, Blue Collar and Scholar did a thing. Actually, we did a few things. This past weekend here in Comox Valley was the Comox Valley Whisky Festival put on by the Comox Rotary Club. It was the 10th annual festival that they did this year. It was the 10th time they ran it. This year it was at Crown Isle Golf. In previous years it was at a different location. Much better location this year compared to previous years. We really enjoyed it. We really got the royal treatment, and it was awesome. So anyway, Friday night we had the honor of presenting a whiskey pairing dinner at Locals Restaurant with world-renowned chef Ronald St. Pierre, and yeah, it was, like I said, true honor, and it was a huge learning experience for me. How a chef would go about pairing food with flavor profiles of whiskey. I'm gonna have a dram. It's been a day. Anyway, you saw me taking a pour and a sip from a bottle that's labeled Infinity Peated. What that is basically I have an Infinity bottle that's peated and an Infinity bottle that's non-peated. And what that is whenever I get near the end of a bottle of whiskey that I'm drinking, instead of just killing it, I add the sort of last little dregs of it into one of these Infinity bottles, and it's actually kind of fun and a little educational too, to see what effect it has and how it changes the whiskey, or the blend, if you will, and usually ends up with a pretty fantastic dram. Not always. Sometimes it's way off and then you have to kind of add something else to bring it back in line, but right now my peated blend is money. So where was I? So yeah, 5-course dinner at Locals Restaurant. The reason they're called Locals is their whole shtick, their whole thing is they try and use all local ingredients when they're making their meals and they're preparing on their menu. And so a lot of the stuff we had that night was locally sourced, and I'm a big fan of that with food and whiskey. I'm a big fan of supporting local businesses. And I find sometimes, or quite often, the food is even that much better and fresher. So, Ronald St. Pierre, our first dish, if you will, was an amuse-bouche, which was like just sort of a couple of little seafood hors d'oeuvres. One was a seared scallop, one was smoked salmon, and then a fresh shucked oyster. If you want to check out like the full write-up, I did a blog on Sunday. Check out the website, bluecollarandscholar.com. Check out the blog. I did a full write-up on the whiskey and the food. We paired that one with Glenfiddich Winter Storm. Right there. It's a 21-year-old Glenfiddich finished in ice wine barrels from Canada. Amazing pairing, and it got everybody fired up and ready to enjoy the rest of the meal. The second one was a prosciutto ham wrapped sablefish fillet, and this one was paired with the Glendronach 21 Parliament. I have it somewhere on the shelf here too, but I'm not gonna tear my shelf apart. And I was not expecting a sherry bomb like that to pair so well with the whitefish. So that was a huge eye-opener for me. Again, Chef Ronald St. Pierre kind of explained it like an artist's palette, like a painter when he has a palette of paint and he's mixing the colors and stuff like that. So he breaks down the flavors of the whiskey, and he breaks down the flavors of the food, and then just like picks out all these different things that just don't seem like they would work, but they do. And truly genius. Anybody in the Comox Valley, if you get a chance to go and try some of his his meals out. I certainly hope we get a chance to do more with him in the future, because he's certainly really good at what he does, and it was an amazing evening. So yeah, that was the second course, Sablefish Glendronach 21. Third course was smoked duck breast with paired with Highland Park 18. And again, it was like the smoke of the duck breast interacted with the smoke of the Highland Park 18, which isn't a super heavy smoky peaty whiskey. And it was just all the fruits and everything that came to the forefront for me. Again, nail on the head, knocked it out of the park, whatever analogy you want to use. It was amazing. After the smoked duck breast, we had a coffee encrusted beef tenderloin, and the beef tenderloin was a local Comox Valley beef, with some local Comox Valley sautéed oyster mushrooms. Again, great pairing. We paired that with a Dalmore cigar malt, pardon me. And yeah, just super rich flavors, blending super rich flavors of the whiskey, and it was fantastic. There I go with the fantastic again. And then finally, my favorite pairing of the evening, and that was a tough call because they were all amazing, was a pear tart with Qualicum Cheeseworks blue cheese paired with Lagavulin 12 cask strength. And I am like a huge fan. A lot of the tastings that we do, I like to put out some stinky cheese like Stilton or some kind of blue cheese, and it always pairs so well with the Islay whiskeys. And this one did not disappoint. It was an amazing dessert, and I wanted more. So anyway, that was the Friday night. That was spectacular. I think everybody got something out of it and really enjoyed it. And then Saturday night, we were invited to host a master's class at the Crown Isle Golf Course before the grand tasting happened. So Blue Collar and Scholar headed over there, and we poured 6 whiskeys for sort of like we called it Whiskey 101, but it was more about sort of entry-level whiskeys for newer whiskey drinkers through the regions of Scotland, the distilling regions of Scotland for what it's worth, even though that's sort of going by the wayside nowadays. And there's peated whiskeys from all over Scotland, and there's fruity whiskeys from all over Scotland. So, but there still is designated whiskey regions with certain styles. And we kind of try to give everybody sort of a broad spectrum view on all different types of whiskeys and wood finishes and all that stuff. So it was a lot of fun. It was only an hour, so we had to cram 6 whiskeys into an hour, which can be a bit tough, especially when we geek out as much as we do and like to talk lots. But we started in the lowlands. We did Auchintosh and Three Wood. Then we went to Speyside, Abelard, Abuna. I believe it was batch 65. Then we went to Highlands, where we did a West Coast Highland. It was Oban 14. Super good whiskey. Then down to Campbelltown, we did a Springbank Longrow Peated, which sort of introduced everybody to the smoky, peaty whiskeys for the next few regions. Same with the Oban. Then we went to the islands. We went to the Isle of Mull, Tobermory Distillery, and we served up a Legeg 10-year-old. And then we finished on Islay with the classic and unwavering Ardbeg 10. So again, it seemed like everybody really had a good time and enjoyed it. There was lots of engaging questions and stuff, which is a good indication to me when we're hosting a whiskey tasting that things are going well, because people are interested in asking questions. I digress. So Then we rushed off to the grand tasting for 2 hours. We had a table set up there with our books and our glasses, and some whiskey fudge, Lefroy quarter cask fudge, which is quickly becoming like famous. I don't know how else to say it. As soon as we walked in there that night setting up the table, we had like 3 people come up and ask us, "Ooh, is there going to be fudge? Is there going to be fudge?" Which is great. We're really happy everybody's really enjoying the fudge. And yeah, I'm sure you'll see more of it. So yeah, the grand tasting was a blast. Lots of people coming up and recognizing us, making us feel special, which was cool. We got to talk to a lot of people in the industry. It was really cool. Adam and Brett from Strath were there pouring whiskeys. They had SMWS whiskeys. They had Rare Drams. Odd Society was there. Shelter Point Distillery was there. Pouring whiskeys right beside us. I got to taste some amazing Glenfarclas whiskeys. Anyway, I didn't even 2 hours wasn't long enough. I didn't even get around to half the tables. Partly because half the time I was running back to our table to sign books and stuff like that. But for anybody who wanted to say hi and I didn't get a chance to say hi or anything like that, I apologize. And I look forward to seeing you at the next event maybe. Because I really do enjoy, that's my favorite part of the evening, is just chatting with people and hearing their stories and getting feedback. Yeah, so after the grand tasting, we went back to our suite, which was at the resort there. And this was actually before the whole event and after the event. We got to hang out with fellow YouTube whiskey reviewer Food Quig and my good friends Leon and Lydia from Shelter Point Distillery. A lot of fun sitting there chatting, hearing about Food Quig's crazy stories from back in the day. And it was really fun to sort of pick his brain. Being new to YouTube videos and reviews, it was a lot of fun to sit there and pick his brain and get his opinion on things and kind of learn from one of the masters, if you will. Anyway, I ended up walking home that night because I don't live far from Crown Isle. It was about 4 a.m. So Sunday was kind of a recovery day. But yeah, that was sort of my recap of the weekend. And it was super fun. It sounds like there's a cocktail event happening up in Mount Washington this weekend coming up. Check that out. I think Shelter Point's going to be up there pouring as well. So support local. Lots of local stuff going on. And Salantava.